Good Tuesday morning and welcome to this special edition of AFN's Open Line. I'm Lon Blair. It's been said that change is the only constant in life, and that's certainly true if you're a member of the U.S. Army's 1st Armored Division. Just before Christmas, the division officially welcomed home the 2nd Brigade Combat Team from a 12-month tour deployment in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. And the Friedberg, Germany-based Ready First Brigade begins returning from its 14th month deployment to Iraq this week. At the same time, the division is in the process of moving its Germany-based brigades to Fort Bliss, Texas. And as part of that transformation process, the U.S. Army Europe announced last week that the 1st Squadron of the 1st U.S. Cavalry Regiment in Büdingen, Germany, will inactivate before the end of this September. Now, that's a lot of change, and the man charged with making it all happen smoothly joins us in the Open Line studio today. The commanding general of the 1st Armored Division, Major General Doug Robinson, is taking your questions live on the air via telephone or via email this morning. Major General Robinson, it's been about 2 months since you were on the last Open Line with us. Welcome back, sir.
Oh, good morning, Ron. It's great to be back. You know, as Commanding General of 1st Armored Division, I want to begin by stating how proud I am of all 1st Armored Division soldiers and families. I want to thank each of them for all that they do every day. And today I want to talk to you about the ongoing efforts 1st Armored Division is undertaking to ensure that transformation and combat readiness remain core missions as we continue in support of a global war on terrorism. As you said, we're a busy division, and we're constantly working to ensure that units are prepared to meet ongoing and future operations. And no matter what, we must remain prepared for combat.
Now, Major General Robinson will be taking your phone calls in just a minute or three. If you want to call the General with your question, our numbers here are DSM 389-4590, 389-4590. You can also email General Robinson with your questions to openline@afne.army.mil. That's 389-4590 to get your question into the General. Sir, big business in the division right now is the redeployment of brigades. Can you give us an update?
Well, you know, as you mentioned earlier, the 2nd Brigade over in Baumholder just returned last November and is now involved in the reset process. And it really involves their improvement of readiness, preparing their equipment, rebuilding their team, and training and preparing themselves for future missions. And now the Ready First Combat Team, boy, is it exciting. You know, as we speak, flights are coming in. I just walked on one back this morning. Credible warriors home after an unbelievable year-plus of mission accomplishment, almost 14 months, as you said. You know, and as announced earlier, Ready First will be leaving Friedberg-Gießen as part of our Army and User transformation. Now, I promised last time that we were going to work very hard on soldiers' orders, and now over 80% of the soldiers have their assignment instructions, and we're on a course for a smooth transition for these soldiers and family members of this superb combat team.
Now, other transformation news was announced last week, sir, the 1-1 Cav in Büdingen, some changes in their future. What can you tell us about the Blackhawks?
Well, that was a tough announcement. That unit has been a part of the division for forever, and actually my regimental affiliation is with that particular regiment. But we held a town hall meeting in Büdingen this past Sunday, and almost 1,000 soldiers and families. And I must tell you that the thing I felt most was pride, the pride in all these soldiers and families. Now, there were some reasonable concerns from family members, exactly what you'd expect, but the entire unit is taking it as a mission and moving out. We will take care of them, and this is absolutely the right answer for the big Army as we go through transformation.
Now, sir, you have another cavalry unit under your command, and that's the 2nd Cavalry Stryker Regiment, Vilseck-Grafenwehr. What can you tell us about them?
Well, the 2nd SCR, Toujours Prey, continues to improve its combat readiness after moving here from Fort Lewis and Vilseck. Remember, last time we talked about they were just getting settled in. Now they've started their collective training. Unbelievable standards, superb leaders, great soldiers. They're already had rotations in the Hohenfelds and are training at Grafenwehr. What a great asset for USER and what a great asset for the division.
We're speaking with Major General Doug Robinson, the commanding general of the 1st Armored Division, and we're taking your phone calls this morning. We're going to get to those in just a minute or two. The lines are open at the moment, so if you have a question for General Robinson, please do give us a call. We'll put you on hold. The numbers here are 389-4590, 389-4590. I know you have a question. Transformation is a big issue. It's affecting tens of thousands of people across the command, and now's the time to get your question into the commander, 389-4590. You can call us on a civilian line. The number is 0621-460-8590. And you can also email your questions to openline@afne.army.mil. Sir, getting back to more of the division's units, the units that you have command and control over, the Combat Aviation Brigade out of Kattersbach, Illesheim, the 12th Cab. What can you tell us about them, sir?
Well, to me, 12th Cab is almost a miracle. This was a unit that was built from the Aviation Brigade of the 1st Infantry Division as it redeployed back to the States. Attack battalions out of the 11th Attack over in Illesheim and lift out of the Kattersbach and the old 12th Cab and Chinooks out of the Corps. Great organization's been pulled together by superb leadership and lots of effort by hundreds and thousands of soldiers. And they're getting ready for deployment this summer. They are now at Hohenfelds. They're flying today. I've just never seen an organization do it any better.
Fantastic. Sir, we have a phone call. Rex, if you're on the line, stay with us. We got about one more minute of business we need to take care of and Rex, we'll get with you in just a minute. Now, sir, you're the commander of the 1st Armored Division. Oddly enough, you have a brigade from the 1st Infantry Division under your command, the 2nd BCT. They're deployed now, aren't they?
They are deployed in Iraq, all the way from Baghdad down to the Al Anbar province. And although they don't wear the 1st AD patch yet, we consider them iron shoulders, tremendous representatives of this division. And I mentioned yet, that organization will reflag at some point as 3rd Brigade, 1st Armored Division. We'll be excited to have them permanently wearing our unit insignia. But again, great soldiers in the fight and superb families making miracles happen every day down there in the Schweinfurt area.
You're listening to Open Line with Major General Doug Robinson. The number here to talk to the General is DSN 389-4590, 389-4590. We have some callers lining up. Please stay with us. We'll be with you. Two more people I want to introduce this morning. The Division's Command Sergeant Major Roger Blackwood. Great to have you here this morning, Sergeant Major.
Good morning, Lon.
And also here is the Garrison Commander for the U.S. Army Garrison Hessen, Colonel Tracy Williams. Morning, sir.
Good morning, Lon.
And we also have a cast of thousands here, all kinds of specialists, personnel, housing, transformation specialists here in the studio with us this morning. We feel confident we can answer your question. Let's go to the phone lines right now. Rex from Boudeguen, 1-1 Cap Country's on the line. And I think we lost Rex. Okay. Sean from Ready 1st Brigade. Is that you, Sean?
Yes, sir, it is.
Good morning. What's your question for the General?
Yes, General, I have a question. I just came back from Iraq this past weekend, and I'm supposed to be ETS with my family coming up here shortly in September. I'm not on orders anywhere. Do you know exactly what's going to happen with soldiers who ETSing, who's not have any orders or anything? Are they staying in Freiburg, or are we going to be moved somewhere else?
Well, there's a couple of options that we'll be working through with you. No, you won't get orders to move somewhere with an ETS. And first, let me thank you for your superb service over there. It's exciting to have you back. What'll happen is we will look at your September ETS, go back and look at the amount of leave and other options that you have, and then work to have you leave Freiburg-Gießen in probably, my guess is July time frame. Do you have kids in school?
No, sir. I just have a son. He's only 1 year old, sir.
Okay. So that you can get back out of there in the summer, get settled in to your whatever your next option in life is.
Yes, sir.
Now, we'd absolutely love to re-enlist you and keep you with us, but if you leave, let me tell you one thing. I'm extremely honored to get to have served with you. That you ought to take great pride in the contributions you have personally made to the nation, and the same as I do for your service.
Okay.
Hey, Sean, are you, what unit are you at? Well, 136, 137?
I'm in 137, sir.
137, what's your MOS? What do you do?
I'm a 92 Alpha. I'm a supply clerk.
Okay, great. And how was the deployment?
It was good. I mean, we got extended and everything. I miss my family, but overall, it was a great deployment.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for your service. We read about you battling the bad guys in Ramadi and doing all kinds of things. You were in the news all the time, and our thoughts are with you. And we're certainly happy to have you back, Sean.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bye.
Sir, one of your great warriors from the 1st Armored Division, fresh back from the battle.
Absolutely. And, we'll have other soldiers who will be concerned about who decided to leave the service in the September-October timeframe. Most of those, what we'll do is work through early drops and others opportunities to be able to get them out of the Freeburg-Gießen, especially if they have kids. We want to make sure that they're able to move within the summertime to be set for schools to start for the kids. I think that's important, and we can make that happen.
We're speaking with Major General Doug Robinson, the Commanding General of the 1st Armored Division. He's taking your questions on transformation. You can call the General with your question. Our phone lines are open. The number here is DSN 389-4590, 389-4590. The civilian number to our open line studio is 0621-460-8590, and you can also email your questions to openline@afne.army.mil. I think we have Rex from Boudingan back on the line. Rex, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Rex. I see you're a civilian employee, and you have a question about compensation if you get returned to the States. What was it you'd like to talk to the General about this morning?
Right. Well, one of the main things I'm worried about, should I lose my job here, how am I going to get back to the States? Am I going to be able to get a plane ticket or my goods shipped back to the States?
Rex, are you a GS employee? Are you NAF?
I am a NAF employee. And I believe I don't think I'm entitled to those things. I'm not really sure, though.
Okay, joining us here, we have Colonel Tracy Williams. He's the commander of the U.S. Army Garrison Hessen, which includes Boudingan. Colonel Williams, what can you tell Rex?
Rex, do you have return rights? Was that a part of what grade were you?
I'm a NF6.
NF6, okay.
And I don't believe I have return rights. They considered me a tourist hire.
Tourist hire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, are you a spouse or a
no.
family member?
No, I'm not. I just got out of the military last year. I was in Babenhausen, and been here about a year now.
And so you had an overseas out from
Right.
Babenhausen. Rex, I'll tell you what we can do. We can get your information if you'll pass it along.
Rex, what we'll do, if we could ask you to stay on the line, our producers are in the studio next door, and the producers, you can give your name and your phone number to the producers because you do have a very specific question. It's a CPO question, and we don't want to speculate with with what the correct answer would be. There's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts associated with your specific case. And so if you stay on the line, our producers will get your name and your phone number, and we'll call you back with that answer.
One of the things that he also needs to consider as he goes through that, Ron, is there may be some opportunities that weren't exercised when he left the service and got out of the Army within USER. And so those will also need to be considered into what he may or may not be able to do for deployment back to the States.
Yeah, transportation agreement. If he has an active transportation agreement.
Right.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, we're speaking with Major General, and Colonel Williams, thanks for helping us out there. We're speaking with Major General Doug Robinson, the commander of the 1st Armored Division, and we're talking transformation. If you have a question, now's the time to get it off your chest because the General's here, and the number is 389-4590. 389-4590. You can also email us at openline@afne.army.mil. John is on the line, and John has a question about changes in orders. Is that right, John?
Oh, my question actually is about, our unit just came back from Iraq, and, with all this transformation going on, how would the deployments work? How soon?
Are you talking about potential future deployments, John? Is this John? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Are you talking about potential future deployments?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Generally speaking, we at least focus on about a year-long dwell between the deployments, which allows us to rebuild the team, reset the equipment, and train the organization up to appropriate readiness standards for a deployment. Not knowing your specific unit and and even so, unless it's been announced, I probably couldn't talk about it. But that's generally when the units become available is about a year after their return, and that's just based on the buildup of combat readiness of the force, and it just takes about that long. Does that answer your question?
Pretty much, but I have one more question.
Okay.
With all the transformation going on in Germany, like my MOS is soon to be phased out, and I'm wondering like how hard would it be to get back in Germany in about a year's time?
It all absolutely depends on the needs of Europe versus the needs of the rest of the Army and the MOS you're talking about. If it's a common MOS within USER, it becomes easier. If it's a rarer or very low density within USER, and depending on the feel of USER and the needs of the rest of the Army will make it depend. So it's absolutely a case-by-case basis, and we'd have to work that to include to your schools.
What's your MOS, John?
25 Quebec.
Say that again, please.
25 Quebec, sir.
25 Quebec.
That's signal something.
Is that right, John? Are you in signal?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. And are you with 141 signal, or which unit are you with?
440, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, John, thanks so much for calling, and we appreciate your service.
Appreciate it, sir.
Okay, thanks for listening.
Well,
you're listening to Open Line on AFN, and we're glad to have you with us on this Tuesday morning. In the studio with us this morning is Major General Doug Robinson, the commander of the 1st Armored Division, Division in Transition, and we're taking your questions live on the air. If you have a question, our phone lines are open right now. Please do give us a call. It's 389-4590 is the DSN number. You can also call us on a civilian line. It's 0621-460-8590. And we also have email here. You can email your question to General Robinson, openline@afne.army.mil. Let's go back to the phone lines right now. Richard from Frankfurt is on the line. Good morning, Richard. Richard, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, Richard. Thanks for calling this morning. What's your question for General Robinson?
Basically, seeing as how all the drawdown is going on, I was wondering, has the military thought about a school board?
What can you expand? What do you mean specifically, a school board?
A school board that has never existed.
A school board for DODS?
Yes.
For that sounds like something Colonel Williams might be able to help out with. Richard, do you have a child going to DODS?
No, they graduated.
Your children graduated, and are you a military retiree, or
yes.
You remember you're a retiree, and you want to know about school boards with DODS?
Yes.
Colonel Williams, what can you say about that?
Oh, Richard, within the DODS system here in Europe now, at each level there are advisory committees that work with the garrison commanders, the principals, and the DODS administrators at the Heidelberg or in the Ramsteins, based on the school districts.
Mm-hmm.
The school advisory committee is for each one of the schools, and then you have an installation advisory committee, which functions much in the same manner as the school board would stateside.
Well, I basically, I think I understand that.
Okay.
Well, what I'm getting at is that there's really no community involvement in the selection of administrators.
Well, sir, hey, Richard, we're talking transformation today with the 1st Armored Division. That sounds like a really a DODS-related issue. And
well, I already know what the answer will be there.
Well, okay, sir. We're talking transformation today with the 1st Armored Division, and we do appreciate your phone call. The number here is 389-4590, 389-4590. If you have a transformation-related issue dealing with the 1st Armored Division or any military Army here, 5th Corps here in the United States Army Europe, give us a holler. And if we can't answer your question, we'll find out somebody who can. Major General Doug Robinson's here, and Suzette from Giesen's on the line. First, hey, Suzette, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Hey, well, great. Glad to have you here this morning. Do you have a question about school boards?
Well, I actually have a couple of questions. My husband, he's not here yet. He's in transition.
Mm-hmm.
The anxiety is killing me.
Well, you must be excited, huh?
Yes, and my question was the order status, because we haven't really been in Germany but a year and a half, and so we don't know exactly where we're going to be going next.
Okay.
So that's a lot of concerns for lots of people, because a lot of us don't have orders yet to where the next duty station would be.
All right, stay with us, Suzette. Now, I believe 80% of the 1st Brigade Combat Team people have orders. Is your husband with the 1st BCT?
He's actually with the 501st FSB.
Sir?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the issues that you'll run across is assignment instructions and orders for those staying within Europe are different than the assignment instructions and orders that are going to CONUS. So you don't get the same information from Human Resources Command, or normally we get it. Those assignment instructions where you're going within Europe have been passed down to the brigade and the battalion packs, and then they will cut orders directly off just this is where you're moving to. It's not, you don't get a separate set of orders that says these are assignment instructions like what the folks who are going stateside will get. Now, now we've got almost, on those, we've probably got 95% of where every individual is going within Europe, if you're staying within Europe. If you haven't, did somebody not tell you where they thought you were going?
Well, we've been told that we might stay here, and then we've also been told that since we haven't gotten orders to date, that we are probably going to go back with the unit to Texas. So that's what, it's really hard to make any plans or anything, because we're being told different things as far as where we're going to go.
Based on what you've told me, and we can certainly, let me make sure we'll get your name and we'll chase it down and give you a call back to confirm.
Great.
But what I absolutely believe is you'll be staying in Europe. You will go to another installation within Europe and
to finish out the contract
and finish out to your DROS, because from what I understood was you had more than a year left before your DROS, correct?
I think we missed it like a couple of days.
We have Lieutenant Colonel Tom Quinn is also in the studio with us this morning. Colonel Quinn is the G1. He's the G1 Division Personnel Officer. Colonel Quinn, is there anything you can tell Suzette?
Hi, Suzette.
Hi.
Yes, if you have more than 12 months remaining from your DROS from this summer time frame when the unit is deactivating, more than likely you're going to stay in Europe, and unless your husband has a specific MOS that we can no longer use in Europe, or that we're filled up with. If you give us your information, we'll be sure to contact you and let you know what your status is, though. Okay?
Suzette, does that help you much? I mean, we'll stay on the line. Our producers will get your name and your phone number, and Colonel Quinn will make sure that your question gets answered. It sounds like you got some children there in the background. You still there, Suzette? Oh, well, they're gone. I heard 2 or 3 kids. Sounds like she had her hands full there.
And she's got to be getting excited. I mean, that unit between now and the next 6 or 7 days, and I don't know which flight her husband's on, but they're all getting excited about their return.
Yeah, great Valentine's Day present for all the spouses up there in Geese and Friedberg. This is AFN's Open Line. You're listening to Major General Doug Robinson, the Commanding General of the 1st Armored Division. We're talking transition today. If you have a transition-related issue that you want to address to the General, now's the time to do it. Our phone lines here are DSN 389-4590. It's 389-4590. We do have lines open. You can also call civilian 0621-460-85590, and you can email us at open line, all one word, at afne.army.mil. Let's go to Darmstadt now. We have a caller. Tunda is her name. I'm guessing who? He. Tunda from Darmstadt. Are you there this morning, Tunda? Hello. I guess Tunda's not there anymore. Okay, we lost that caller. Perhaps they'll call back. Sir, we had some email questions that came in a little bit earlier in the day, and this one was also from Darmstadt. family called the Clarks, and they say they are scheduled to move to Wiesbaden with the 1st Armored Division. And the Clarks have heard that the 1st Armored Division is scheduled to move to Fort Bliss, Texas. Is that true? And if it is, when is the estimated date for the move? Around what month and what year? What can you tell the Clarks, sir?
Well, absolutely. As we've talked about before, the 1st Armored Division is slated to move as part of the Army transformation to Fort Bliss, Texas. Currently, I believe that's about the 09-10 10 time frame.
Okay.
If they're coming up to 1st Armored Division out of Darmstadt, they will have at least, I believe, 2 years, if not more, in the Wiesbaden area there with the 1st Armored Division.
Okay, so there's good chance for some stability then.
Absolutely.
In the Wiesbaden area. Okay, this is Open Line on AFN, and we're taking questions today. Transformation is the issue today. Major General Doug Robinson is here. The Command Sergeant Major Roger Blackwood is here. The Garrison Commander for Hessen, Colonel Williams, is here. A cast of thousands in the studio, and we're ready to take your issues and take your questions. Our phone lines are open right now. If you have a question for the CG, now's the time to call. The number here is DSN 389-4590. It's DSN 389-4590. You can also call civilian 0621-460-85590. And you can take a question via email today as well if you have an email question for us. The address here is Open Line, and it's all one word, openline at afne.army.mil. We're really happy to take your questions. PJ from Baumholder's on the line. Looks like he has a PCS question. PJ, go ahead. PJ.
Yes, sir.
Hey, good morning. Thanks so much for calling.
Sure, no problem.
What's your question for the General?
Yes, sir. I got a question. I'm right now in Baumholder, Germany, and I'm going to PCS to K-Town. And that unit that I'm going to are going to deploy this summer. I just got back from Iraq last November, so shall I go with this unit or I have to stay for another year before I get deployed?
Lieutenant Colonel Quinn? Or is the General Officer going to take that question?
It kind of depends on, did you ask to go to that unit?
Yes, sir. I applied for a 427 cut, and I got approved, but they're going to deploy in summertime this year.
Right.
Yeah, that's certainly tough, coming back from one deployment and then having to pack up and go again.
Correct.
What unit are you with right now?
Right now I'm 1/6 Infantry, 1st Brigade, sir. I'm a 2nd Brigade.
Okay.
Yeah. We can certainly look at that. Because you asked to go to that unit, the Army guarantees 90 days of stabilization.
Correct.
But past that, our goal is for a year, but it is not guaranteed. Let me ask you to give us your name again, back to the producers, and let us go back through and chase.
Roger.
So one of the questions will have to be a little bit of your thoughts on how bad do you want to go to Kaiserslautern, or stay with the unit that's currently there on the ground, and so we will have to work through that.
Okay.
Have you taken that issue to your chain of command, PJ?
No, sir. I just got my order last week that I'm going to K-Town, and I heard that they are going to deploy also this summer. So I'm just wondering if I have to wait for another year or have to go with them right away as soon as I get there.
Okay.
Well, tell us what unit it is going to, because what you may be getting is rumors versus what is actual fact. And,
correct.
And let us work through that for you.
Okay. PJ, stay on the line. Our producer, lovely Leah Ortiz, is standing by in there, and Leah will take your name and your phone number, and we'll pass that on to the appropriate people, and they can chase that issue down for you. There's Leah. See, she's on the phone with PJ right now taking care of that. Fantastic. This is Open Line on AFN, and we're about halfway through the show. We've had lots of phone calls, and we've got some more lined up. Tunda from Darmstadt's with us. Tunda, before we get to you, I want to say that the number here, if you want to call, is DSN 389-4590, 389-4590. Get your question to Major General Doug Robinson. Tunda, are you there?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. You called before. We couldn't get through.
Yeah, I heard you, but
You can hear me?
You didn't hear me.
Okay, well, great. I'm glad you called back, Tunda. What's your question for General Robinson?
We're scheduled to move to Wiesbaden to 1416, and I heard that they're supposed to move to Bliss also, for Bliss. And I was wondering if there is an estimate date so far when the move is supposed to happen, or...
Yeah, I can absolutely give you a rough guess. I do not believe it'll be any earlier than 2009. It'll probably be 2010.
Oh, great.
And so you'll be coming up to Wiesbaden. You're going to a great signal battalion, Sword and Voice. And you'll be there, I believe, at least 2 years. I just can't see it moving any earlier than that.
That's great. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
Yeah, Tunda,
Thank you very much.
You're going from one great community in Darmstadt to another one in Wiesbaden. Do you know Wiesbaden well?
Yeah, we've been around. We live in Darmstadt, and we drive up there a lot of times. We love the commissary there, and it's just great.
Yeah, great facilities in a beautiful city. We're looking forward to having you in Wiesbaden, Tunda. Thanks for
you.
calling.
Thank you very much.
Okay, fantastic. Bye. Open line on AFN, the number here for Major General Doug Robinson. He's taking your transformation-related issues on the phone today. The number is 389-4590. 389-4590. Joseph from Schweinfurt's on the line. Joseph wants to know about redeployment, reintegration, and the second BCT, the 1ID. Did I get that right, Joseph?
You sure did. Thank you.
Okay. Far away. Ask the general your question.
Morning, sir. I've got a quick question for you concerning reintegration. Say, for example, 2 BCT, 1ID would be extended beyond what they're expected to be on current deployment. Would they still be put through the 90-day reintegration prior to PCS?
Yes. There are exceptions that can be approved by the battalion and brigade leadership. But let me tell you a little bit reason why we take those strictly as exceptions and work through. From all the studies and all the reviews that have gone through, that 90 days to be able to, one, protect the individual from outside taskings, but the other is so that the people, the soldiers that he or she fought with in Iraq, get to see them on a daily basis to make determinations whether the individual's changed and whether there's other help that needs to be provided. The other piece is, if they need help for no matter what issue, medical, housing, follow-on assignments, we're set and are focused on that time frame to make it happen. And so if they move earlier than that, it becomes very, very difficult to ensure all that takes place at another installation. The biggest is that's proven to be a real need to ensure the welfare of the soldier and the family members.
Does that answer your question, Joseph?
Yes, sir, it sure does. Thank you very much.
Sure. Are you active duty? Are you with the 2nd BCT, Joseph?
Yes, I am. I'm currently on leave. Be heading back in a couple of weeks. I'm actually commander down there, 57 SIG.
Hey, great. Well, sir, we appreciate your duty to country and appreciate your call today.
All right, thank you.
Have a great day, Joseph.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. This is AFN's Open Line, and we're taking questions today with Major General Doug Robinson. The number here is 389-4590, 389-4590. You can also call civilian 0621-460-85-590. And email. We're taking questions via email today, openline@afne.army.mil. And we do have a couple of email questions. Let's get to one of them right now. And looking at this already, I can see that this is going to be a Colonel Williams question. So, sir, I'm going to get you back here. Garrison Commander for Hessen, Colonel Williams. It says, this is Robert is sending the email in. Robert's question is, reference the transfer of the USAG Hessen, U.S. Army Garrison Hessen flagpole to Wiesbaden. Will those civilian functions that are currently not being performed in Wiesbaden, USAG Hessen functions, be considered a transfer of function when the flagpole moves?
Yes, Robert. The functions that exist at a direct or colonel level garrison that don't exist in Wiesbaden now, those functions will transfer with the assumption of command by my replacement there.
Okay. Now, Colonel Williams, what kind of functions would he be talking about? That would be your headquarters?
Portions of the head. For example, they're in an indirect garrison or currently in Wiesbaden.
Yes.
There is no resource management office. The resource management is handled by, at the direct level, at the colonel level, there in Hessen, in Hanau.
Okay.
That function would transfer, as an example, to Wiesbaden at some point.
Okay, so you're moving your flagpole to Wiesbaden this summer. Is that correct, sir?
Well, what will happen is my replacement will assume command of the U.S. Army Garrison Hessen in May in Hanau.
All right.
At some point over the next year, the functions and that flag will move to Wiesbaden with a reflagging of the organization as U.S. Army Garrison Wiesbaden as a colonel-level garrison and an inactivation of the U.S. Army Garrison Hessen.
So the Wiesbaden garrison will have an 06 commander.
Exactly.
As opposed to Colonel Wolf, who's there now, the 05 slot.
Yes.
Okay, Colonel Tracy Williams, the commander of Garrison Hessen. Thank you so much, sir. Let's go back to the phone lines. Lots of phone calls. We're really, really very happy that you're calling today. And this is, a fantastic opportunity to get your voice heard by the most highest echelons of the United States Army here in Germany. And direct contact with the general, the commanding general. It's a fantastic opportunity, and we appreciate you taking the opportunity to taking advantage of the opportunity. And the number here is 389-4590. 389-4590. Another phone call from Schweinfurt, and this is Susan. Susan, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hi. Thanks for calling. What's your question for General Robinson?
Well, my husband is deployed, and we were supposed to PCS last June, and I was wondering, we don't know when he's going to be coming back. Probably 12 months, as you know. But I was just wondering if and how do we find out if our deployment orders and where will we be going? How will we find that out? I mean.
Okay, your question is when he returns. How will you determine what's next for you?
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully what he's already done is either put in his preferences where his next duty station is, aim for officers and ask for enlisted, and that will start being processed. Because of the deployment, y'all will be, as I mentioned earlier, on stop loss, stop move for 90 days after his return to make sure we have the opportunity to get everything set for your move and for you to have time to reintegrate with your husband yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We would also want to do you have kids in school?
No, sir. We don't have any children.
Okay, so it makes moving a little bit easier for you. And then at that point in time, we would be able to execute your orders. It may be a little early to start seeing those orders, but we can take and chase through to see if Human Resources Command has already got him a tentative assignment, and we can provide that to you. But it would generally come prior to his return for execution no earlier than 90 days after his return from deployment. But we can certainly chase through and see if that's already been done. Since you had a previous DROS and a stop loss, stop move, they may have already started making assignments, and we may be able to see it and tell you what it is. And it still may be a little early too for moves for 2nd Brigade, for 1st Infantry Division for those sets of orders.
Okay.
So it seemed like there's some uncertainty in her specific situation.
There is. It has to do with exactly when 2nd Brigade gets back, and then because the Army runs in cycles, 2nd Brigade gets, we're now finishing up ready first, the Friedberg-Gießen area, and then orders for the summer moves, which that would start falling in summer and later, are just now starting to be worked and provided. My guess is it's probably a month, maybe two early, but we can certainly chase through and see it.
Sir, would it make any difference if he's been in Europe for 10 years? This is his 3rd tour. Would we be staying in Europe or the States?
Chances are you'll be going to the States if you've got 10 years in Europe. He would have to apply for an exception to stay in Europe.
Okay.
Did you want to stay in Europe? Is that what you're wanting to do?
I it wouldn't really matter. I just really wanted to prepare myself for wherever. I'm from England, so I was wanting to prepare myself for whichever place we would end up. So
my guess is, based on 10 years in Europe, 99% of the time you're going back to CONUS.
Oh, okay.
Susan, where'd you leave your accent? You said you're English.
Oh, my husband taught me how to speak American, and a lot of people have a hard time understanding how I speak.
Oh,
so.
The English accents are so charming. You shouldn't lose that thing. Susan, have you been active in your family readiness group?
Yes.
You have. Has it been helpful?
It has. It has. It's just that one question, lingering there, just wanting to prepare and know that where we're going to be living and stuff.
That's a challenge.
I've never lived in the States, so, it's a big change for me. So.
Well, there's lots of Americans there, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay, Susan, thanks so much for calling.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, the number here on Open Line is 389-4590. If you want to get a question to Major General Doug Robinson, it's 389-4590. Our lines are open at the moment, 389-4590. Now's a good time to call. You can also email us at openline@afne.army.mil, afne.army.mil. And we do have an email question here, and this one is from Heather. Heather writes, I've been hearing that when the 1st Infantry Division gets back from downrange, they'll be part of the 1st AD. Is that true? And after the next deployment, will they be moving back stateside? Is that true, sir?
Well, absolutely. The 2nd Brigade, 1st Infantry Division at Schweinfurt is going to be reflagged. 3rd Brigade, 1st Armored Division. I don't think there's any question about that. Yes, they are scheduled to move back with the division to the Fort Bliss area. That's, again, about the 09-10 time frame.
All right.
Is everything always open for, and sometimes you can't give as clear a dates as you'd like to, and it's because the Army is constantly changing. But that's the time schedule. That's what I think is going to happen. And about the 09-10 time frame.
All right, so we're talking the 2nd Brigade of the 1st Infantry Division, is that
right?
Is
We'll
that
become
correct?
3rd Brigade, 1st Armored Division.
3rd Brigade, 1st AD, and Fort Bliss, you said, sir?
It will change here.
It'll change here.
When 2nd Brigade, 1st Infantry Division redeploys from their current deployment in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom,
right,
they will reflag.
I see.
Almost immediately after their return to become the 3rd Brigade, the 1st Armored Division.
Okay, great. Major General Doug Robinson is with us in the Open Line studios this morning, and now is your time to get your question directly to the General. Forget the chain of command. Go right to the top. The number here is DSN 389-4590, 389-4590. Email openline@afne.army.mil. Sir, you ready for another question?
Sure.
We've got Tabitha from Wiesbaden on the phone. Good morning, Tabitha.
Good morning.
What's your question for the General?
My husband is currently stationed here in Wiesbaden, and he's with the 501st MP unit, and he just came back from Iraq and with a unit out of Baumholder in November, but his whole unit is on stop law. So I've heard rumors that they was on stop law because of our move to Texas, and then I've also heard because they were going to be deployed to Iraq. So I was just wondering what's going on.
Well, first off, 501st MP Company is not on stop loss. The platoon out of Baumholder was on for 90 days after their deployment and returned, and that's now, it literally ends the end of this month.
Okay.
And the 1st platoon, who's with the Freiburg Brigade, as they come back, they'll be on for 90 days until they complete all the reintegration.
Okay.
But the company itself is not on stop loss, stop move.
Okay, so it would just be him then? Because I know when he pulls up like his ASK and stuff on his AKO, it says that he's on lockdown.
Yeah, but that ends for him for 2nd platoon of the 501st MP Company. That ends in February. That was 90 days from the time he redeployed until, well, it's for 90 days from the time he redeployed, and that's at the end of February. based on the date.
Is the purpose of that stop loss to allow the soldier to get the full reintegration training? Is that it?
It allows us to protect the soldier. Really, what it does is so all of a sudden he comes back, and he's not in orders. We're trying to move him around somewhere.
All right.
Now it gives us the opportunity to lock them in, to take care of the families, so that we can show the emphasis that they need. Everything from medical to transportation, housing, equipment reset, everything else for that individual soldier to take care of him. But that's why the 90 days is in there.
Okay, Tabitha, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for calling, Tabitha.
All right.
Have a great day. Okay, let's go back to the phones. We have another phone call on line 3. John from Wiesbaden is with us. Good morning, John.
Morning.
Your question, please?
Yeah, my question for morning, sir. My question is, if you're in a unit that's inactivating, not entirely, it's moving somewhere else, and the unit's name is changing as well, is that considered an inactivation or relocation or just a movement?
Can you talk? So what specific unit are you talking about, John?
I just...
Or would you rather not say?
Yeah, I'd rather leave that out.
All right.
Well, it could be any and all. That's the reason we kind of ask what particular unit. For example, one of the signal companies out of 141 is moving across to Baumholder, and that was announced a couple of weeks ago. And an MI company is moving across. The MI company is moving across to Baumholder, will remain Bravo 501st MI. The signal company, because it's going to be a separate standalone signal company, is changing its number, and will be reflagged as the 596, I believe, is the unit. But each one of them is really a different case.
Roger, sir. Yeah, I just didn't want to name the unit, the whole OPSEC thing.
Yeah, I understand. But I'm not sure of the inactivation. If they're moving, it's generally not a inactivation. It's a reflagging and a move of a unit, and that's being directed through the USER headquarters.
We've got Lieutenant Colonel John Laxo is here, and Colonel Laxo is the 180 Transformation Officer. Sir, do you got something you'd like to tell John?
No, sir. I think you hit the nail on the head pretty much, sir.
Okay, great. Is there anything else you'd like to ask, John?
No, that's it, sir. You have a wonderful day.
Great.
Thanks for the answer.
Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Okay, it's Open Line on AFN. Major General Doug Robinson is our esteemed guest this morning, and we're taking your questions having to do with transformation with the division. If you have a question for the General, you have about 8 more minutes to call, and our phone lines are open right now, so now would be a good time to do it. The number here is 389-4590. 389-4590. You can also call us on a civilian line, and that number would be 0621-460-85590. And we're taking your questions today via email as well, and that would be open line at afne.army.mil. We did get a phone call a little bit earlier. Richard in Schweinfurt wants this question answered offline. Richard in Schweinfurt wants to know about Schweinfurt's future, and that might be speculation, but, sir, what can you tell us about the military facilities in Schweinfurt?
Well, what I can tell you is the USER transformation plan had some enduring installations. One of them was the Graf Vilset complex, one of them is Wiesbaden, one is Kaiserslautern, and the other is the Ansbach area, which includes Kaderbach, Ellesheim for aviation, and then CTAF down in Italy as enduring installations. All the others are set for some change in the future. Schweinfurt is one of those. It's not listed as one of the enduring installations of the transformation plan. When it would change, I think is still in question. Like we talked about earlier, the 2nd Brigade 1st ID, and as I mentioned, it's going to become the 3rd Brigade Bulldog 1st Armored Division. I don't believe he's going to move before the 09-10 time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And if that stays on track, then that kind of gives a future for Schweinfurt. But everything changes, 2 and 3 years out to do the right balance for both USER and for our Army. The Army's getting another 65,000 soldiers.
Right.
And the other piece is 1st Armored Division is slated to go to Bliss. And as I mentioned last time, we're not going to move to Bliss until the housing's set till the facilities are set, till the ranges are set, the motor pools, and so that the standard of living of a soldier is as good or better, and they deserve, and our goal is to absolutely make it better on capability than where they are right now. And so that's part of the balance we're going through now in the Army.
Okay, sir. We have about 5.5 minutes left in the show. We have 2 phone calls. I want to get to both of those phone calls and give you a chance to have your closing statements. Paul is on the line from Baumholder. Paul, you there?
Yeah.
Fire away.
Hi, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Question on the future of Baumholder, because looking at a larger strategically, it would strike me that Baumholder is perfectly positioned proximity to Ramstein to produce a rapid deployable force. And especially with AFRICOM standing up at some point in the future, I was wondering if there was any thought originally to keeping forces in Baumholder as perhaps as a lighter unit for that purpose, for deployability purposes.
Well, I'll tell you, Baumholder is a wonderful community. I was assigned at Baumholder a couple of years ago, and it is a great place to serve and great place to train, great place to be a soldier. But the answer I gave really for Schweinfurt also applies to Baumholder as far as currently designated enduring installations and footprints. Is there always possibility of change? Yes, there's always possibility of change with some of the things that you just mentioned. But the current plan is it is not listed as one of the enduring installations.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you for calling, Paul. There's intense speculation with Baumholder, and I know the minister-president of the state of Rhineland Falls has visited the Pentagon and has lobbied very hard to keep the U.S. Army garrison of Baumholder open, but no word on that one there.
Right.
Okay, sir.
And one thing about Baumholder is,
yes.
I mean, I've served at Baumholder. It is a wonderful place to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the German community around the Baumholder installation is as good of a community anywhere I've ever served, CONUS or OCONUS.
Yeah,
they really do put their arms around and take great care of the families when they're deployed and the soldiers when they're back.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody's been assigned Baumholder really loves Baumholder.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's certainly very rural, and the U.S. Army is one of the biggest, if the biggest employer in that county there. I think I remember once the minister-president saying that 60% of the tax base from that county comes from the United States Army, so they do love Americans in Baumholder, that's for sure. Sir, we got about 3 minutes left in the show, and I know you had some closing remarks you wanted to make, so I think I'll give you an opportunity to do that now.
Well, one of the, it is exciting to meet the planes and ready first, and those families starting to link back up again, and the soldiers getting off and excited about their future.
Mm-hmm.
And that drives me to ensure that we may stand fast in our commitment to take care of soldiers and families. We must do that. But I also, one of my charges, my most critical charge, is making sure we remain prepared for battle.
Mm-hmm.
Combat readiness and transformation ensure that peace and democracy can and will be achievable in the global war on terrorism. Our Army, and it's not just our Army, it's your Army, remains a critical asset in this war. We all are part of this critical asset. President Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, once said, democracy is not a static thing. It is an everlasting march. And I am absolutely convinced we're on the road to achieving it. Mm-hmm. And it's going to take a commitment from all of us to move forward.
These are historic times we're living in. There's no two ways about it. And I think we hear a lot about the generation of World War II being America's greatest generation. I think you can make a strong argument that the generation we have today is perhaps America's strongest generation. History being made by soldiers of the 1st Armored Division every day. Sir, we took about a good 20 phone calls today. I think it was a good debate here. Anything jumped out at you from the phone calls we had today?
I guess the biggest thing is, people are concerned about their next assignment and others in their service, and they should be.
Mm-hmm.
That's our responsibility to make sure and take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
And what I can tell them is, that is an absolutely commitment from me to ensure the best for their future. I can't tell them how much I personally appreciate, how proud I am to get to mention my name with them for their service. Their personal sacrifice, soldiers and family members, are what allows our nation to be free and to do the things it does. It's not about money, it's about service and sacrifice. And there's no greater individuals, in my view, than those young men and women who serve in the 1st Armored Division or those families who are part of our communities.
Very good. Major General Doug Robinson. With that, we'll wrap up today's edition of Open Line. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. Sergeant Major Blackwood, Colonel Williams, Colonel Quinn, Colonel Laxo. Thank you all for joining us today. This is a production of the American Forces Network Europe. I'm Lon Blair. Thanks so much for joining us. Stay tuned. The news is next on AFN.